Okay, we are live. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Launchins YouTube channel and to a very special session, a very special discussion with one of our toppers, Mr. Vihaan Tiwari, All India rank 42 in the ALET exam. Stellar achievement. Congratulations to you, Vihaan.
Thank you,
And
sir.
सबसे पहले I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience, and then we'll proceed.
Yeah. So, like sir said, my name is Vihaan Tiwari. I live in Thane and I'm a student of the Thane batch of Career Launcher. I started my preparation in March of 2025, and as sir said, I got an AIR 42 in ALET.
Lovely, lovely. Take us back to the day when you saw the ALET result. What went through your mind? What was the reaction of family members, friends? What was your reaction? Did it feel real? What happened?
So, I had not expected it to come out yesterday because there was a lot of talk about it coming out on 18, some said 21st pe aayega. So, I didn't think that it would come yesterday. So, then a friend of mine actually told me कि ALET का result आ गया है. So I went, I had a look, and obviously I was pretty pleased. Then I went, I told my mom. My mom was sleeping, and uthaya ki mummy ut jao. My dad, I told them, and yeah, everyone was pretty happy. It was a good day.
Fantastic, fantastic, and well deserved, I would say. I saw you throughout the year working really hard, joining all the streams, participating in the Menti quizzes. It's fun to see that the outcome has paid off. Now, what I wanted to ask you is you had many options, right? You said you are a student of CL Thane. You must have had many options before choosing guidance. What led you to make this particular choice, and what were the factors which you are looking at when choosing guidance? Take us through that.
So I think the main factor and the main thing I was looking for is personal guidance,
Hmm.
because like India has like all sorts of competitive exams, and you have all sorts of coachings that say that, oh, we'll get you AR1, we'll get you AR2, this and that, and all of them have the same resources, same mocks, but the differentiating factor was the personal touch, that how close are you with the teachers, how good are your mentors. So like my mentors in my center, they were like extremely helpful, they were amazing teachers. Like I would text them all day, any day, about doubts I had in this section or that section, and they would get back to me. And I had more than a few doubts, and they were more than obliging. You, sir, you and Salik, sir, your sessions were a huge help. I remember I emailed you once way back when about my scores, and you were very helpful, and you were very uh, generous in your advice. So I think that personal touch and that kind of personal investment that career launcher teachers and mentors had, I think that made the difference, because not only did it obviously improve the quality of my preparation, it actually encouraged me to work harder. Like I wanted to do better. So I think that was the main factor that led me to come to CL. And I had heard that because I had a lot of friends who were in CL. They had told me that it's amazing, you should try it out. And when went to the center and I spoke to them, and it became clear that CL is the place.
Lovely, lovely. I'm so happy to hear that. Also, I would really love if you could give the shout out to your center teachers as well, because I'm sure they must be watching this sometime soon as well. So, whoever played a part in your preparation, I think they should definitely deserve a shout out.
Definitely. So our teachers like Lakshmi ma'am, Navjot ma'am, Jenif sir, and our center heads like Vivek sir, all of you, thank you so much. This is your victory as well. See, hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a collective victory for all the mentors, for you, for your family, for everyone who was involved, because it does take a lot to get towards success. Okay, talking of success, tell me, what did your average preparation day look like for CLAT as well as ALET, and how did you make a separate plan for ALET? What was that like? Take us through that journey.
So glad. So in the beginning, I was a bit nervous because I knew I had a bit of a late start. A lot of my competitors had started in 11th grade, so I knew I had to catch up. So throughout my preparation, one of my main priorities was GK, because the rest of CLAT is more as an aptitude exam, right? I mean, it's a skill that has to be cultivated. So like there's a strict syllabus. So I knew that with enough practice, I would eventually get there. Thankfully, because I've always been an avid reader, a lot of the comprehension sections like CR and logic, English, they were easier for me. I was able to do them well. GK was something that I did struggle with, especially in the beginning, because I didn't know how to go about it. Like I knew there was a newspaper, I knew there was a Hindu analysis videos, but what more? So GK was my top priority throughout. And what I found was that a lot of people, they think that I should do GK from this source and that source. What I saw was that you choose a few sources, but you stick to them and you stay consistent no matter what. Like you take a few sources, but you stick to them and you go in deep. जो भी main topics है आपके, like this year we had a lot happening. We had a lot of big events that happened. So
Hmm.
whatever those events were, I tried to make sure that I went in deep into them. Not like I didn't completely drown in them because then other topics would have got missed out. But like I had more than just a surface level knowledge. So GK was my
Hmm.
main priority. The rest, English and logic, it was, I honestly I'll say it was reading. Because I had a habit of reading, I was able to do fine in it. So any, I think this is especially for the 11th graders who are like in who are starting their prep now, I would say read as much as you can at this stage, because once you're in 12th grade, then you'll have like mocks, you'll have to do sectional tests, practice exams, so you may not get that much time. But if you're in 11th right now, start reading on varied topics. If you're reading a newspaper, you have editorials, I would say read on topics that you don't like either. Like oftentimes I would read editorials on AI or genetic editing or certain legal controversies that happen in India. So even if like I knew the GK part of it, I know that this article says this, I know this person did that, but because I read those articles, so if something similar came in the English section, the logic section, I was able to, the ideas are more accessible to me, I was able to grasp them better, and then obviously my accuracy and my timing improved.
I think that's very comprehensive, and I think that's fantastic. Solid advice. Start early, focus on GK, practice a lot, read eclectically. Fantastic advice. Love that. Okay, so Vihan, what I have experienced as a mentor is a lot of students have ups and downs in their journey. You must have also have had some ups and
Yeah.
downs. How did you manage the down phases where there was particularly a bad mock or a bad week? You could not focus on prep. What brought you back to preparation? How did mentors help in that? Elaborate a little bit on that.
I think it's just a matter of perspective because, like you said, sir, that there'll be a lot of ups and downs. Especially competitive exams are of such a nature, and especially CLAT in that respect, that it's bound to throw googly at you every once in a while, right? So you never know what's going to happen. So, and so doing a down phases, all I'll say is that it's more of a game of your emotional strength and your mind than anything else. Because even like if you're the best student, like if you're getting 120 out of 120 in every mock, ALET में 150 से 150 आ रहा है, there will be off days, there will be times when you kind of lag behind. There'll be times when like you'll see friends or like people who are not doing as well do better than you. So at that point, I think it's just important to remember that ultimately it's just you, it's just your journey. It doesn't matter what everyone else gets, it doesn't matter what how everyone else is doing. You have a down phase, you're not doing so well, it's okay. Learn from that, see what happened, analyze your mocks. That was something very important that I found, that analyzing your mocks is the best way to learn. So the way I would analyze my mocks is I would look at each subject, I would see how many I attempted and how many I got wrong. And the wrong ones I would attempt them again in a time frame to fully understand ki matlab, what was the logic behind this question and the given answer, what's the philosophy behind that. Because if I know the answer to this one question, doesn't matter, but if I understand the logic to that answer, that is what will help me. So analyze your mocks, because every failure is like a learning point, every failure is a new starting point for you to begin again. So just don't
Absolutely.
worry, relax. And one thing, this I would like to give a shout out to all my mentors and my friends and family, they were very supportive. Like I had a lot of friends who were giving CLAT as well, and there was never like unhealthy competition between, it was always very healthy, that we'd kind of push each
Hmm.
other. When like one of us would do bad, we'll say koi nahi yaar, agle mein ho jayega, we'd actively help out each other. So I would say surround yourself with those kind of people, that you're able to talk to them about CLAT and in a healthy way. Like a lot of times people do tend to get a bit toxic in a way, so don't let that happen.
Hmm.
Surround yourself with good people, with your family. Just keep in mind what your end goal is, and I'm sure that you'll be able to tide over the bad times.
Beautiful, beautiful. Keep yourself around positive people in a positive environment. Focus on mocks. Analyze the mocks carefully. Okay, let's talk about analysis of the mocks. You have had a long journey of this preparation and you have come out on the positive side of it. What were your some of the learnings which you felt that you realized throughout the preparation? Maybe through mocks, maybe through sectionals, maybe through topic tests, maybe through an advice of a particular mentor. What were some mistakes which you figured out that were detrimental to your preparation? Could be related to mocks, could be about preparation in general, which you thought that are pulling you down, and how did you overcome that?
I think the main thing which I realized, I think it's two things. One is the analysis of mocks. because analyzing your mocks in the right way will change your preparation. So it took me a while to figure out how I should analyze, because like most people, when I think of analysis of mocks, they just think कि वहाँ बस पढ़ लो क्या गलत हुआ and move on. No, you have to like actually get at the core of, like the बोलते हैं ना जड़ होती है. You have to get at the root of the problem. So
Hmm.
when each section, break them down and compare them with your previous mocks. So like if I see that I got English में 24 on 24 in three consecutive mocks, and then एक में 19 आ गया, so that's not an issue. Maybe on that day I wasn't feeling so well. Maybe on that day that mock was tougher. So don't worry about that. But if I see that consistently I've been declining, then I have to pay attention. So when you analyze mocks, it's not just that one mock that you're looking at. You have to look at it as a pattern of your performance. And one thing that sir you mentioned and Salik sir mentioned in your stream is to look at the percentile, because like oftentimes I would see that I have not gotten such a great score, but I've gotten a good percentile. So I have to understand that okay, at this point it's a good score, or that this was a tough test. So it really puts things into perspective. So A, you'll be able to understand your mistakes, and B, you won't get bogged down, because again, the mental game is the most important part. If you get bogged down, then nahi hoga. If you're like lacking, if your main part of your preparation is your mental state, so it's important to analyze your percentile, analyze your mistakes, and and keep a track of your section by section overall performance. So like if I get, let's say, a 95 in one mock and a 92 in another, but I'll think it's just 3 marks, like I'm in that safe range. But if I don't notice that the section I was doing very well in before consistently, I have done badly in this, and one section that I was not doing so great in, I have just once one off mein ye acha ho gaya hai. So that's something I should take a look at, right? That's something that begs my attention. So analyze your mocks as a whole, as a graph.
Amazing, amazing. I think that was a very deep down, drill down, comprehensive answer that focus on sectionals, focus on percentile. Lovely. All right. So I would like to ask you, Vihan, that imagine a serious ALET aspirant is watching this. What different should he do second? I think I lost network. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
asking you, if a serious ALET aspirant is watching this, you being a successful aspirant at ALET, getting a wonderful rank, how should he or she structure his or her preparation specifically for ALET? Let's shed some light on that. How is this different from achieving success in CLAT, and what different did you do for ALET?
So it's important to understand that like most people, they relegate ALET that, oh, it's just the three sections of CLAT, right? It's just logic, English, and GK, but it's not. So you kind of have to kind of carve out a separate kind of study time for ALET. So for English, I would say the main thing you can do is increase your reading speed and comprehension, because a lot of the questions, they are of a similar type. In my opinion, in my experience, they are of a similar type, and in some cases there might be even a multitude of easier questions, but because there's so much reading to do, it becomes very exhausting, like because there's like you have like about 6 passages and 50 questions to do. So while CLAT also does have an English section, this is a different ball game altogether, because there's just so much reading. And you have to also keep in mind that you have 70 questions of logic, which also do require a lot of reading and comprehension. So you have to make sure that you're a good reader for English. And I think, and if you're doing well in CLAT ka English ka section, then you'll be fine. GK is, I think, the main differentiator between CLAT and ALET, because a lot of times I saw that because we have passages in CLAT, either the answers are in the passage, or at least able to infer the answer. So like, so you need to be generally aware. This I found very helpful again in your sessions, and generally when I would prepare for my GK, I would try and understand the overall context, especially in geopolitics. So like we had a lot this year with Donald Trump and India, Pakistan, Israel, Iran. There's a lot to cover, right? So always try and understand the overall context, because in GK, most people think that's just like either you know it or you don't, and that's true. I mean, it's yes or no, it's binary. But if you're able to infer the right answer, that will be the differentiator. So like there was this one question, which of in this year's AILET exam, which of the following has not recognized Palestine? And I believe the options were France, Canada, Australia, and Japan. So I was not sure, I didn't know. but I kind of inferred. So I knew France ने
Hmm.
recognize किया, and I knew that Canada and Australia had made some statements in support of Palestine. So I thought they must also have. I had never read anything about Japan supporting Palestine or anything. I didn't
Hmm.
know their stance on it. I had never heard about it. So I inferred that it
Hmm.
might be Japan, and I got it right. So I think that's the kind of skill and art that you need to develop, and that's going to be generally aware as well. Yes, one more thing this reminds me is that when you're preparing for GK, and again, this is why sir, your and Salik sir's team came in really handy, is that you'll provide a lot of background information as well, right? It's not just like the GK
Hmm.
tidbits that India, capital New Delhi. It's not like this is the factoids. You like went deep into it. So obviously that helped in GK
Hmm.
because I was able to infer the answer. I was able to understand the overall context. And second, in English and logic as well, we would have passages on things like EVs or AI or Iran Israel. So because I knew the overall context, I think I mentioned this before as well, I was able to understand it and became more accessible to me. So the same thing applies to GK, the same thing applies to English and logic. And as for the logic section as a whole, I would say practice AR. Especially after CLAT, because CLAT was
Hmm.
like a huge curveball in that sense. We thought it was going to be reading comprehension was mostly AR. So I got really worried because ALET does have
Hmm.
a lot of AR anyways. So अगर CLAT में इतना तो उसमें तो क्या ही आएगा.
Hmm.
So इसलिए I made sure to practice AR
Right.
as much as I could. I got up to speed on all my concepts. So like one thing I found very problematic in
Hmm.
AR was arrangements. Arrangements I was like terrible for me. So I made sure I practice as much as
Hmm.
I can. बैठ के लिए- I One of my mentors in my center, they had sent us like huge collection of ALET and SLAT questions for AR. I did all of them. I did as many as I could to make sure I was in that. I was
Hmm.
primed to do AR, so that when AR came in the paper, I was like, "ये तो आता है." So
Hmm.
ALET में logically
Lovely.
focus on AR.
Hmm. Okay, very, very aptly put. I think you highlighted very important points, focusing on GK, the overall context of things, practicing AR, getting up your reading speed. So, yeah, very important for ALET for sure. Now, Vihan, tell me one thing. You decided to, let's say, join CL Thane. What led you to believe that a structured preparation, probably through an institute, would be better as opposed to preparing on your own? Did you find that structure to be helping in your journey? And if yes, then how?
Definitely, because so no one in my family is a lawyer, right? No one I knew around me in my immediate vicinity had given CLAT. So obviously I was at a disadvantage. I didn't know where to start. So obviously being at a center, and especially my mentors, they were very helpful. They were amazing. So being in their presence and their company was a huge help. They provided a very structured kind of study plan, the syllabus, especially because legal was a sticking point for me in the beginning. I found the jargon very confusing at first, and but my teachers, they made it very easy. They made it very simple to understand. And the why I wanted to do law, because I found law interesting. I found that again. It increased my appreciation for the law, which all the more reinforced my desire to be a lawyer. So that was a huge help. And
Hmm.
overall the resources they provide, the constant advice that they provide, that you should do this sectional test, you should focus on that, I think you're lacking in this. So you always have an expert on your side who's helping you out, right? I mean, I'm not saying that it's not impossible to do it on your own. Obviously people do, but I think this gives you that extra push to make sure that your preparation is more efficient, and it's more, the quality of the preparation increases. Like you're putting in a lot of hours, but you're making sure that you're putting
Absolutely.
in the right kind of hours.
Hmm. Okay. Talking about putting in a lot of hours and putting in the right kind of hours, a lot of students bug me with this question. Sir, how many hours do we put in our preparation in the initial phase? How many hours in the later phase of preparation? How did you go about it? How many hours did you put? How many quality hours? How many actual hours? And did you eliminate any distractions? Maybe social media, maybe Instagram, maybe a girlfriend. I don't know. So how was it like?
गर्लफ्रेंड तो सर ये सब तो हमारे उससे बाहर है. But as a number of hours, definitely, because I kind of found my own way to it. So I started like So the main thing I had, that GK I have to do 2 hours every day. I had a set where I have to do the Hindu analysis, I have to do a newspaper, and I had a couple other sources. GK इतना तो मुझे हर दिन करना ही है, कुछ भी हो जाए, चाहे कुछ भी, स्कूल जल्दी जाना है, स्कूल ट्रिप पे जाना है, कहीं भी बाहर जाना है फैमिली के साथ, ये जीके मेरा हर दिन होता था फॉर श्योर, कुछ भी हो जाए। तो वो 2-3 घंटे तो मेरे सेट थे। उसके अलावा इट टुक मी अ बिट ऑफ टाइम टू काइंड ऑफ फिगर माय वे आउट, बट बाय द एंड ऑफ इट आई वाज पुटिंग अबाउट 5 to 6 hours of quality work every day. Sometimes it would go over that, obviously, especially November December में थोड़ा तो ज़्यादा जाता ही था, but by the end of it I was putting in a good 5-6 hours. And December May, once December started, I started pulling back, because first week of December mein tumhara exam hai, so you kind of need to refresh yourself as well, because I saw and I kind of felt myself as well getting a bit burnt out ki har hafte do mocks and then har din I was doing 100 questions, so it gets a bit too much. So especially in the last week main thoda kam kiya, aaram kiya. It's not like I was putting in zero wo, but like I would say like put 4 hours or 3 hours of quality, and the rest of the day, especially like 2 days before CLAT, I gave one mock, and then next day I did nothing. मैं बस GK थोड़ा पढ़ा, chill मारा, because I knew कि अभी it's just about calming down, being chill, being relaxed, being in the right state of mind. Same for ALET. ALET मैंने we had 7 days between CLAT and ALET, 4-5 दिन एकदम मतलब questions किए, GK किए, सब किया. Last 2 days again I kind of pulled back to make sure I was like ready mentally, I would not get burnt out, and then I went and I gave the exam.
Absolutely fantastic. Someone in the chat box is asking विहान भैया का स्कोर क्या है? विहान भैया आप ही बताइए आपका स्कोर क्या था?
विहान भैया का स्कोर एलिट में था 132.5 एंड क्लैट में था 97.75 विद द रैंक ऑफ
132.
352.
Fantastic, fantastic, stellar performance, I believe. Okay, so probably 10 different places, a lot of resource material from 10 different places. How do you resist that urge? And did you experiment? Did you try out mocks from probably any other place, or was it just CL mocks all throughout?
It was mostly just CL mocks. Again, the same philosophy as GK, that you have a few sources, but you do them well. So like CL had like lot of sectional tests, bhar ke the, you had a lot of mocks, you had last year ke papers. So just do those well, like do them comprehensively, and I think you'll be fine. It's okay to experiment once in a while with other reasons, because obviously like वो एक बेताबी तो होती है कि अरे ये भी
FOMO,
करते हैं, वो
FOMO.
भी करते हैं, impatience तो होती है. And I think it's kind of important
बिल्कुल.
but to resist that as well, because it's very easy to get swept up, let me do this, let me do that, but like a lot of times I caught myself and then I had to correct myself, that I would give a lot of mocks of like career launch ka diya, iska diya, uska diya, but then I would not analyze them. And then I thought koi fayda nahi hai, because if you're giving the mock and you're not analyzing it, then there's a problem, because the mock is your hotbed of experimentation, and then the analysis where you see what that experiment yielded. So do a few sources, pick a few sources, whatever you think is right for you. There's no set source. जो तुम्हें सही लगता है अपने लिए. A lot of people I know did sectional test exclusively. A lot of people I know did almost only mocks, and they both categories have done well. So for me, I had a balance. I would do like about 2 mock, especially towards the end of my preparation. I would do 2 mocks a week, and then for all other days I would do about 100 questions, give or take. कभी 120, कभी 80, कभी 140, but like on average 100 questions, just to keep myself primed. And because oftentimes I found the sectional tests had even harder questions than the mocks. So have a few resources, do them well, do them every day, and you'll be fine.
Okay. I think that's superb strategy. We have another question from the chat box. Swara, who is one of our regular attendees these days, is asking Vihan, any suggestions for preparing notes, especially GK? Vihan, your thoughts on it?
Notes, I think, is just as simple as just sitting down and taking the notes spontaneously. And like a lot of times, again, doing your live stream, doing your newspaper, while I was making my notes, I would sometimes take a break, take a pause, and whatever the topic was, I would kind of go into that to try and figure out more about it. So like if आपका stream है and आप बोल रहे हो कि इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी
Hmm.
1990 में, सॉरी 1960 में साइन हुआ था. सो देन आई लाइक ठीक ठीक है, कब साइन
Hmm.
हुआ, किसने किया, कब इफेक्ट में आया, बिकॉज एक बहुत ट्रिकी था इसमें. आई रिमेंबर दिस बिकॉज सितंबर में साइन हुआ था एंड अप्रैल में इट केम इनटू इफेक्ट. तो आई थॉट
Hmm.
ये ट्रिक क्वेश्चन है, ये आ सकता है. एंड
Hmm.
आई थिंक मॉक में शायद आया भी था. सो आई वुड काइंड ऑफ गो,
Hmm.
ऑब्वियसली नॉट टू डीप इनटू इट बिकॉज पीएचडी करोगे तो फिर कोई फायदा नहीं है. बट जस्ट ऊपर ऊपर से यू नो द
Right.
बेसिक पॉइंट्स, मेक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव नोट्स, एंड
Hmm.
मोर देन दैट नोट्स बनाना ठीक है, रिवाइज करो नोट्स. Because notes, because and I know it gets very
Right.
arduous because I had like दो तीन नोटबुक भर भर के मेरे पास नोट्स थे. अब पढ़ने में obviously कंटाल तो
Hmm.
आएगा, but you have to. So I would find fun strategies for it. So like I would take the book to my
Hmm.
school and I would ask my friends कि मेरे को इसमें से पूछो, just to like make it fun for me, fun for them. Those, like when you're sitting with a friend and you're revising, तब मजा आता है. If I'm just sitting in school proxy period, I would sit and I would read through that notebook कभी कभी just to see like ताकि reinforce हो जाए. Because एक वो है कि क्लैट में if you like remember, like
Hmm.
अगर कोई question है, you remember it on the spot तो बढ़िया है. That's the perfect place to be in. But like if you're not completely
Hmm.
sure and you get the options and then you're
Hmm.
able to remember, that's also fine. It's not ideal, but it might just be the difference between you getting in your
Hmm.
college and you just
Hmm.
missing out.
100%, very well put. I think periodic revision definitely plays a big role, and jitna bhi, as Vihan said, kantal aaye, you have to do it. I think kantal is a fantastic word, something new. Okay, lovely. So I think we'll put an end to this discussion here. We'll call it a day. But just before that, I'll ask you, Vihan, what are plans now? You were telling me backstage that there are some travel plans, but uske alawa, you must have resisted a lot of things throughout the preparation. So what are you going to do once you are done with the board exams?
Abhi the after board exams, obviously I have my travel plans. We're planning to go to Rome, Kashmir, Mohali, a couple other places. And then uske baad to just, unfortunately most of my friends are JEE and NEET students, तो उनसे तो मिलना भी मुश्किल है.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, just spend time with my
Hmm.
family because abhi then I'm going to
Any,
go. Any? Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, do go on.
Yeah, go ahead. Complete
तो
it.
नहीं, उसके बाद तो spend time with my family. अभी last कुछ महीने है, so have fun with them, make a lot of memories, and then go.
Mhm.
फिर college में अलग मजे.
Fantastic. I was asking any plans to binge watch any movies or TV series? Are you into those kind of things as well?
हाँ, मैं सोचा था ब्रेकिंग बैड देखूं, बट मेरे को थोड़ा जमा नहीं. आई ट्राइड बीच में, देन आई स्टॉप बिकॉज थोड़ा अच्छा शो है. बट आई नो आपको पसंद है, आपने बहुत बार मेंशन किया
Hmm.
अपने स्ट्रीम्स में. बट वो ट्राई
True.
बिकॉज तो बहुत अभी तो
Yeah.
लॉट ऑफ गुड मूवीज कमिंग आउट, लॉट ऑफ गुड टीवी शोज कमिंग आउट, तो मैं तो पूरा सेटिंग इन फॉर द विंटर.
Absolutely. Breaking Bad, you have to endure one season. One first season is a little slow, but if you are able to do that, then definitely it picks up pace. But he gets not everyone's cup of tea. That's fine. A lot of good movies, as you said, coming up have released recently as well. So yeah, definitely go for it. You absolutely deserve it. Once again, I would like to congratulate you for the massive success, for putting in so many hard hours and it finally paying off. Super happy for you. Super proud of you. Genuinely makes me so happy to see you succeed and going to NLU Delhi. Wishing you a lot of luck, wishing you a lot of health for your lungs, and wishing you a lot of success later in life. Thank you so much, Vihan, for sharing your thoughts with us.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू.
All right, we'll end it here. Thank you guys for attending the stream. If you have any questions, do let them know in the chat box. Maybe I or maybe Vihan would answer them. Thank you. Bye bye.